We're joined. He's been with us the past couple of Mondays. SEC Media Day Monday, we talked A&M and the SEC. Last Monday, a week ago, we took a look at the rest of the P4. Joining us again on the D4 Land Services Hotline. I'm talking about Brett Ciancia. He's with Pick 6 Preview. Brett, how's your world, man?
Hey, Louie. Thanks for having me on, man. It's a busy time of year here with the publish and release of the 2026 Preview magazine. But best time of year. I'm really excited to be on and break down the season. It's game month. You know, I can start to say month now. We're August. We got 4 weeks till kickoff. So busy time of year, but the best time of year.
You know, I realized, because you and I have talked over the years here and there, all over there. You've been on many a time, but I never asked you like the most basic question in the world, but what is Pick 6 Previews?
Yeah, well, Pick 6 Previews is my football company here, where I launched it in 2012 as a preview company. Wanted to, put my own spin on what you see on newsstands and what you see online. It's a one-man show. I preview all 68 Power 4 teams. And really, I call it a never-ending research project. You know, I'm talking to head coaches, talking to coordinators, watching game film and spring games, practice reports. And then it's, like I said, it's a one-man show. So I'm then writing every team. I'm editing. I'm designing. And over the years, I put together some valuable formulas to help predict games and seasons. And it was able to earn me the #1 accuracy title. You know, there's a company that grades all the magazines and publications that you find. And over the last 10 years, 5 years, no matter the increment, Pick 6 Previews is #1 in the country. So, that's been my company here. And, with all the analytics and the week-to-week stuff, I launched a in-season product called Pick 6 Plus. That way you get my picks, my information updated every week. But, yeah, it's been a long journey. It's now 15 years, the 15th annual edition. Really been humbled by some cool awards that I've won. I won the FWA Rising Star, the Young Writer Award. And then, it's been a great run. So, we talked over the years. We always talk when it's summer and fall, the best times of year, but really it's an all-year project. So, yeah, that's Pick 6 Previews. In a nutshell, one-man show and the world leader in prediction accuracy.
So I got to know, though, what inspired you to do something as crazy as start a magazine? 2012 isn't that long ago. For you, it probably feels like 50 lifetimes ago, to be fair. But still, what inspired you to do a magazine, man? I'm sure when you entered the market, there's 7 million of them out there. You had to be following like a passion or you were insane.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's both. I don't know. But, it's college football has always been a passion of mine growing up. I mean, I love all the rivalries, the traditions, the pageantry. I love how it's one day a week. It's like almost like a mini holiday every Saturday in the fall. You got hundreds of games kicking off. I love the different styles of play that you find in the college game too. You have your air raids, your option attacks, all kinds of new defensive schemes. That always stood out to me as different than what you see on Sundays. And that's coming from a guy. I'm based outside of Philadelphia, where unfortunately here it's all pro sports talk. I just always found that. I know. I can't even get on local radio here. I got to go all across the country where people actually appreciate college sports and college football. So yeah, I've always been attracted to the Saturday version of our sport, and of course Friday night lights and high school football the best. But always been attracted to college football. And then I do have an aptitude for numbers. I'm kind of a numbers and stats nerd as well, but was able to spin that into something productive and make it interesting too. Because sometimes you find that analytics people. It's really hard to understand what they're talking about, and sometimes it doesn't even apply to the sport. But what I do in my book and in my package, it's really easy to understand. Things like explosive plays, explosive rushing, pace of play, stuff like that. It's easy to read. But anyway, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to launch my own because I liked some of the magazines out there. I liked bits and pieces of them. I didn't like that it was all sometimes 50, 100 different writers in the same book, and they all had their different the different opinions. So I wanted to just do a one-man show. I'm going to do every team myself. I'm going to use my formulas and help predict seasons and games that way. And really, it's increased every year to the point that now it's a full-time company and, more than just a passion project back from 2012.
Yeah, and that's bold cotton. I mean, magazines and things of that element. Where can people go if they want to check out Pick 6 Previews?
Yeah, so we're only available there on our webpage, pick6previews.com. And on there, you'll find sample pages from last year's edition. I think we have the Ohio State team pages up there. You can check that out. We have a digital version, the PDF only, We have a hard copy, spiral-bound magazine, all color, that is shipped out within a couple days. And if you buy the hard copy, I email you the digital anyway, so you have it for those couple of days where it's being shipped. And again, samples, testimonials are in there. We got Scott Van Pelt was a huge endorsement this year for us. It was unbelievable to see that. That was really cool. And then if you like the magazine, you're going to love the in-season product, Pick 6 Plus. And what that is, every Tuesday in the fall, it hits your email inbox. It's basically getting the magazine refreshed every week with the new numbers, the new stats, the new projections, my against the spread picks, everything you'd want. Because I know that once the season starts, it's really hard to keep up with so many games, so many teams at once. So this product gives you everything right there in one place to use on Tuesdays in the fall. So yeah, that's where you find Pick 6 previews. And yeah, really appreciate it, man. It's like I said, it's been a long run. But 15th annual, I think it's our best one yet, and going to keep going.
You know, I was one of those. I mean, you know, being of the older type, couldn't wait to get the magazines, you know, but in your hand. Because we talk about digital, right? It was special, and you carry it with you everywhere, the office, your house, your car, right? But now we live in such a digital world, I don't even know what I'd do with a magazine. The few times I still get physical editions of anything, it's very special.
Yeah. No, and honestly, whenever I started this, everyone was telling me don't do hard copy, print is dead, blah blah blah. I mean, this is one of the only the only items a year that I think actually stands out as a hard copy. I think you want this because, and I know this because my customers, my fans love this. You get your hard copy, you bring it to the beach, to the lake, to the couch, to the backyard pool, and you can sit there, you can mark it up, you can highlight it, have it with you on Saturdays during the fall to read up on your next opponent or what teams you're going to be betting on, you know. So I think just the tangible product really, not only is it nostalgic back to the old days, but I think for a college football annual, I think it's the most effective way and the most enjoyable way to really get caught up for the season. And now more than ever, because with thousands of players moving around, all this coaching carousel, all this change every year, I think that having it together here in one spot in a hard copy edition, I mean, I'm biased, but I think my fans and customers would agree. You got to get it. It's so much better than a digital or just going on message boards or websites, and they do great work too. I mean, I don't want to, it's a different type of product, but yeah. I do think there's still a spot for the hard copy annual magazine. I believe.
Well, sports fans are collectors. Yeah, and Pick 6 Previews, your magazine just becomes a collection into the season. It's almost like at the end of the season, we can take everything we got, whether it's the ticket stubs or our towel for our favorite team or whatever, and your Pick 6 Previews becomes a part of that collection for the season.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's cool seeing all the fans, the customers. They always tweet at me when they get their magazine in the mail. They take a picture where they're at. I've gotten some cool ones like fans that brought them abroad to Europe on their vacation, so I'm getting pictures of like my book with the Coliseum behind it. You know what I mean? It's kind of the book has made it all across the world now, which is cool. And I agree with you. It becomes a collector's item. One of my guys just tweeted out he had the last 5 editions lined up, 5 for 5. So that was really cool to see, and really appreciate everyone giving me a chance. You know, because again, it's not a legacy brand, it's not a giant corporation. It's me and my house. That's it. And but I think the testimonials and the fans that are enjoying it speaks for themselves. But I really appreciate all the opportunities and all the give me a shot. Go read the Ohio State sample, see the numbers on the page, see the writing, because like I said, I took the parts that I like the best out of all the other magazines. It's not it is predictive. It's more about the current roster, the current team, than maybe some past years that go back too far. No acronyms, no computer coding in there. It's very readable. It's got the narratives, the X's and O's, the schemes. So yeah, I agree with you. It has become nostalgic in a way, but also I think really useful to get ready for the season. I think you got to get one of these to really get excited and know what's going to happen here in August and September.
Brett Ciancia, Pick 6 Previews, hanging out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline. If you ever need to get your land fixed up, your land cleared, your land excavated, check out d4landservices.com, d4landservices.com. Now, Brett, we're going to do college football playoffs, but I wanted to start with the top units in the nation, because when we went through by conference, well, we know the top ones in the conferences, and that's cool, but I like the national perspective. You can be good in the small pond, but I want to know about where the big dogs eat. Let's start with quarterbacks, if that's cool with you. Who are the top 3 quarterback units in the country?
Yeah, well, in the book there, I've got, like you said, I've got them by conference and national. I guess with quarterback, it's not so much a unit; it's really just your starter. So, I mean, I'll give you my three. I've got Trinidad Chambliss at Ole Miss. I've got him as my first-team All-American coming in. A guy who transferred up from the Division II level, took over the starting job there in September at Ole Miss, and led them all the way to the semifinals. It was unbelievable. Now picture his second year as the starter, second year in the SEC. So I like him to be the number one quarterback this year. Number two, I went with Dante Moore, the returning quarterback from Oregon, also led a semifinal run last year, was drawing first-round grades and surprised us all and came back to Eugene, Oregon to lead who actually is my national champion pick this year, Oregon. So that's your 1-2 punch there, Ole Miss, Oregon. And then number three, I went with Julian Sayin, a guy from Ohio State. Last year as a first-time starter, he actually set an NCAA completion percentage record. Very sharp, very accurate, big arm. And got all the way to New York City as a Heisman finalist last year. Doesn't hurt that he's got 2 5-stars to throw to with Jeremiah Smith and Chris Henry coming up the next Jeremiah Smith. So they're fully loaded there at Ohio State. That's my top 3 quarterbacks for the year.
You know what I love about Julian Sayin and what I think makes him a little underestimated is that he does everything. He might not be the best scrambler. He might not throw the best deep ball. I don't know if I know his accuracy completion rate is actually insane, but he does everything. There's nothing he can't do, even if he finishes second in every category.
Yeah, he's well-rounded. And again, I always love seeing a second-year quarterback too. And now that was all as a first-time starter last year, and he beat out some impressive names. One being Lincoln Keenholz, the new starter at Louisville. So I mean, he impressed me year one. Let's see now a full second season, and he's got a veteran offensive line in front of him. He's got running backs back, arguably the best receiver core in the country. A lot to like from Ohio State and Stan. And yeah, you're right. He makes the reads. He puts the ball where it's got to be. Never really phased. The only time we saw him a little bit phased was against Indiana and Miami, against 2 of the best defensive lines and pass rushes in America. Can't really fault the guy for that. Those 2 teams, Indiana went 16-0, and Miami was a late touchdown away from beating them. So, yeah, phenomenal first year. I think he can even improve a little bit this year.
A&M, with Marcel Reed, got 12.
Yeah, I liked Marcel Reed a lot last year, especially those first 11 games. Remember, he was drawing some Heisman buzz there in October, November. It was a explosive offense, getting the ball out to Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver. I really liked the offense last year. Now, came up a little small there in the postseason there against Miami with the end zone interception, threw those 2 picks against Texas. But again, that's a little bit of nitpicking, but I think it's still good enough total package to be right there around the top 10. Like you said, I got him 12th. Very, very impressive to be top 12 in the country quarterback.
Who are the top 3 running backs in the country entering the 26th college football season?
Yeah, so I'm going with 2 returning All-Americans that last year earned their spots, and the first one was Ahmad Hardy from Missouri, really physical guy. And the reason why I gave Missouri the number 1 running back room is not just Hardy, but I think they have the best backup in the country, too, with Jamal Roberts. These guys are angry, tough runners, and last year Missouri doubled down on what was working, which was the run game. So a ton of carries, ton of yards. So I went Ahmad Hardy, number 1, Kewan Lacey from Ole Miss, number 2, guy that put up like 1,500 rushing yards last year in that Ole Miss offense. So that's my 1-2 punch there. And then third, I went with Michigan. I went with Jordan Marshall, and it's a productive rushing attack. I think you're going to see that again from Michigan as they bring in Kyle Whittingham, the Utah head coach, who over his 20 years over there, they were very run-first, run-heavy. So those are my 3 guys. I'll throw a little plug there for L.J. Martin at BYU. The Big 12 runners-up last year, led the conference in rushing, all Big 12, and he's back. So those are the 4 guys. You got Missouri and Ole Miss covered there, and then you got Michigan, BYU.
This paints a really scary picture when Ole Miss has the number 1 quarterback and the number 2 running back stable. You start with all Pete Golding has to do is just stay away from the offense. Just if he hired the OC he believes in, stay away. Don't go to the meetings. Don't look at the review. Just leave them alone.
Exactly, and this is a reason why I went with Ole Miss to make the playoff bracket, and that's actually, if you look on the consensus, if you look at the Vegas markets, they are not expected to do so. So I went against the grain here. I'm going Ole Miss to return. I love that quarterback, running back we talked about. In terms of scheme on offense, yes, you lose Lane Kiffin, and I was worried about that at first, but there higher is John David Baker, who was quoted saying he's keeping it 90% the same as the offense last year under Kiffin. He's a Kiffin guy himself. He was at Ole Miss a couple of years ago. So I feel good scheme-wise there on offense. And then defense, Pete Golding being the head coach now, he said he put a lot more of his funds, his budget, towards the defensive side of the ball. He signed 8 4-star transfers on defense. Unbelievable. So I see a complete team stronger than last year's Ole Miss team.
So over on the wide receiver tight end grouping, who are the top 3 wide? And this is funny. I knew this one because the top units are so elite this year. Who are the top 3 wide receiver units?
Yeah, so this one you really look at the whole receiver room, the starting trio. I look at tight ends in there as well as a total pass catcher unit. And number 1, again, it seems like almost every year I have Ohio State. And a lot of that is because of Jeremiah Smith. But also, it's just a conveyor belt of 5-stars over there with Brian Hartline, the way he recruited the position for so long. So if you want to double up Jeremiah Smith, then that's kind of pick your poison because you got Brandon Innes, a 5-star, you got Chris Henry, a 5-star, and you know that Julian Sands going to get him the ball. So that's my top receiver room. Number 2, I went with Miami, and we saw this unit really take off in the playoff last year, led by Malachi Toney, the little slot guy. He's like the Energizer Bunny. You know, he takes screen passes and darts through the field. So that's your starting point in the slot. But then they took starters off of South Carolina, off of West Virginia. They had their own 5-stars coming up the pipeline. And they even brought in a 1,000-yarder from Duke and Cooper Barcade. So that's as solid as it gets as a unit, number 2. Number 3 and number 4. I got to include 4 here, Louis.
Oh, yeah.
So number 3 is Texas. Number 4 is Texas A&M. I like both units a lot. With Texas, it was more transfer heavy. They brought in Cam Coleman from Auburn, who I think is probably the 3rd best overall receiver out there. Right there was Smith and Malachi Toney. That's why I gave them the edge at number 3. And then with A&M, I know they lose Concepcion, but Mario Craver returns, and they did really well supplementing him through the portal. So that's your top 4 in the receiver room.
Yeah, and Texas A&M, they even have a high. I will tell you something. We'll find out. You know, they got to do it on the court, right? But, man, their potential depth could hit that 5 or 6 level. And I don't mean of just players that, like, run fast, but actual contributors. They've got a couple players, and we'll see if Bussy actually broke out over – not Bussy, but Ashel Bethel-Roman broke out. It's more than just their top 2. That's what makes their wide receiver room so scary. Well, they got to do it, but, man, they're scary.
They went out and stole Alabama's top guy, Isaiah Horton, and you never see Alabama get poached like that. So that was impressive. Instantly backfills for the loss of Concepcion. So, yeah, I like it a lot, and I think you're going to be proven right with that one.
Hey, quick timeout, coming back. We got more units. We got playoffs to talk about. Brett Ciancia, Pick 6 previews, hanging out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline. You ever look for some forestry, mulching, pond construction, heck, a custom metal building from the ground up? I got a website for you. You're going to be at bored of work. How many times can you check your email? Come on. Go to d4landservices.com. d4landservices.com.
Can't reach your radio? Listen to Aggie football online at radioaggieland.com.
The Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. They do residential, commercial, industrial services. CC Electric. Joined again, D4 Land Services hotline. That's where most guests join me. Join again, Brett Ciancia, Pick 6 previews. We're taking a look at the top units in the country because when we went through conference by conference, you know, we took the look at the top in the conference. Now, you got to compare against each other. It's called perspective. Brett, who are the top 3 offensive lines in the country?
Yeah, well, you got to look at the whole unit here. So you got 5 spots, and there's some really strong units coming back from last year. I started at the top with Notre Dame, a team that's known for physicality in the trenches, big run game. I know they lose their running backs behind them, but it's really about the linemen in front of them. 4 starters back. If you look at last year's stats, they were top 10 in both my offensive line run push, my pass protection, yards per carry. No matter what metric you want to look at, they were stout, and they bring most of it all of it back. So we're starting at the top with Notre Dame, number 1. Number 2, Ohio State. Similar deal. They ran the ball effectively last year, protected Sayan well. 4 starters back from the playoff team. Now, I want to see them improve a little bit against the elite competition, like when they faced Indiana and Miami, but I think everybody had problems with those 2 pass rushes. Yeah. So I like Ohio State a lot there. It's more veteran than last year. It was younger and new last year, but 4 starters are back, and all 4 were all Big Ten last year. So 91 combined starts from that group. I really like it. Very veteran. So from there, that's number 2. Number 3, I went Indiana, and this is your defending national champions. Again, 4 starters back. I love continuity. I love returning starters when I look at offensive lines. It kind of makes sense intuitively. You look at who the best lines were last year. Do they bring their guys back? Then you're going to expect similar results. So with Indiana, a really solid line last year. 4 starters are back. Now they set their target on that they want to win the Joe Moore Award, and they already got the national title. They want to win the Joe Moore Award, which goes to the top offensive line, and they certainly have the potential to do so. And then number 4, I'll throw in a 4th. I love Georgia from the SEC. Multiple All-American candidates there along their line. I want to see them perform better as a unit together, but they have star power individually, and I think that they'll get a huge increase statistically this year.
So I have a question. When you say returning starters, and in the modern college football world we live in, do they have to be returning starters, A, with each other, B, returning starters within that system, or just because of transfers, they started the year before somewhere?
Yeah, I know that this is quoted differently at other publications, but I mean, returning starter to me means that they returned to the school they started last year. So when I mentioned Indiana, 4 returning offensive lineman starters, that means off of 2025 Indiana's O-line, 4 of those guys are back. 4 national champion linemen are back. When you bring in transfers, they may have started elsewhere, but I would just label that differently in my book. I'd say, hey, so-and-so transferred in. He was a starter at Akron and was all MAC, first team all MAC, and comes in and is competing for whatever job. But no, returning starter to me means that at the school we're talking about, he was a starter here. He's just back in the same locker from last year.
Okay. If you started, because A&M is going to start 4 offensive linemen, no less than 3, who all started in the SEC, but not at A&M last year. Like, how do you quantify that kind of experience? Because they're not new, but they're not returning A&M starters. So it has a value above the norm, but it's not returning starters A&M. You get what I'm saying? How do you quantify that?
Well, that's great. I'm glad you brought it up because in the magazine, I really go position by position, room by room, team by team, and I look at every situation. So right away, if you look at A&M, you'd see, oh my gosh, 4 linemen are gone from last year. They only return 1 guy, Mark Naboo, the returning starter at center. Like they're going to be young or awful here. But you got to dive in and look at who they brought in, and it's not just 4 names on paper, but these are 4 former starters from within the SEC. With guys from Alabama, guys from LSU, former 4-stars, top 200 guys, starters at the SEC. And when you combine those guys' career starts, they added 54 combined SEC starts to the offensive line. So that's why I've got them still all the way up at 7th in the SEC as a line. I mean, I think you need to really just dig in room by room. And while I won't call them a returning starter, I gave them a lot of credit because they were experienced starters in the SEC, and that's why that I didn't bury A&M in the O-line ranks. I got them up there at 7th.
Yep, 7th. It's again, A&M. It's weird. A&M is doing things. I don't see a lot of schools that took A&M's approach, Elko's approach, in the portals the past 2 years. It's been fascinating to watch. Let's go over to the defensive side. Brett Ciancia, Pick 6 previews on the D4 Land Services hotline. And we're taking a look at the national rankings, unit by unit. Over on the defensive side, who are our top 3 D lines?
Yeah, defensive lines, I went with Oregon number 1. And this is a unit that was so strong. They're starting 4. You're talking Amari Washington, Bear Alexander, Mateo Ungalele. It's really talented. They're starting 4, all returned from last year. And they were so good that the 4 backups behind them all transferred out. They were scared they weren't going to get on the field. And those 4 guys transferring out were all given 4-star grades as transfers out. So if the backups are 4-star transfers, it kind of points to how talented the starting 4. You're looking at 4 draft picks, 4 high draft picks, and part of the reason why I've got Oregon as my national champion pick. So top defensive line, Oregon. Number 2, I went with Oklahoma. And this is a lot about last year's performance. One of the best defenses in America, and they went 8 deep, 4 spots, 2 deep, so 8 guys, and half of them are back. David Stone, the defensive tackle, could be the best in the country there at his spot. You also have Taylor Wayne coming off the edge. So I like them a lot, number 2, and that's a Brent Venables system, so you trust him a little more knowing his track record. Number 3, familiar name we just talked the other line of scrimmage with is Notre Dame. So I love their O-line, love their D-line. Again, if you look statistically, one of the top 5 rushing defenses, top 5 everything defense last year. It started in the trenches, and they bring guys back. They also added some All-ACC and some key transfers from other spots, bringing in a guy from Pitt, a guy from Oregon. That's one of those backups we talked about, and it's just loaded. Every spot on this Notre Dame defense is loaded. So that's my top three lines.
Another national ranking for Texas A&M. They come in at number 14. And in your Pick Six Previews magazine, you do these national rankings for units or top 15. A&M with another national ranking at 14 for the D-line.
Yeah, and again, similar to what we just talked about with A&M's O-line, how if you quickly look and see, wow, they lost 3 starters from the defensive line, they're going to struggle in the trenches. You got to do the research. You got to dig in. That's why it takes me 8 months to make this publication. But when you look at it, they backfilled really well. They brought in a top 10 NFL projected pick with Anto Saka coming from Northwestern. He was all Big Ten. Like I said, high first-round grades coming in as a pass rusher. So then you have a former 5-star DJ Hicks moving up into a full-time role. You got starters off of UNC and Colorado. They replenished really well. So you can't just stop at, hey, they lost 3 linemen, they're going to struggle. You got to look at who they added, and it's a lot of talent. So good enough to keep A&M in my top 15 nationally defensive line.
Top 3 linebacking units for college football 2026.
Yeah, so start with Georgia. And in the same way we always think of Ohio State's receivers, always signing the 5-star receivers and best guys, that's the equivalent here at Georgia linebacker. Glenn Schumann, their defensive coordinator, it's just unbelievable. Every year, multiple 5-star linebackers. I don't know how they're going to get them all on the field, but that is overflowing with talent. You got Chris Cole and Raylan Wilson are the headliners there in the middle. Number 2, Indiana. And again, from a national champion team, national champion defense, they return a lot. And it starts there at linebacker. Elijah Hardy is the headliner. So I like them. And then number 3 with Texas Tech. And they lost a Heisman candidate with Jacob Rodriguez. He's actually the guy I voted for last year for the overall Heisman number 1 spot. He was the most productive linebacker that we've seen in a generation in college football. You lose him, and you're still number 3 in the country at linebacker. How's this possible? Well, you bring back his co-star, Ben Roberts, and then they went out and signed the number 1 transfer linebacker in the portal, Austin Romaine, a 2-time All-Big 12 guy from Kansas State. So, you lose a legend, but they bring back another one, and they added another one. So I like Texas Tech there as the number 3 linebacker trio.
And finally, the defensive backs, who are our top 3.
Well, a couple names that we just talked about here, but starting at the top, I got Oregon again, and this is part of the logic of calling for a national championship to come to Oregon. And when you look at my advanced stats, my numbers, they were really, really strong against the pass last year. Top 5 overall defense, number 2 passing defense, and you bring back a lot of it. And then they added arguably the best safety in the country with Coy Parrish, the number 1 transfer out there. The 5 stars galore. And I don't know, to those recruiting fans out there, this will really register with them. They have 5 5-stars in their secondary, 8 top 50s in their secondary. And the top 50 is almost 5 stars. So it is just overflowing with future pros and blue chip recruits. So Oregon 1, Oklahoma 2. I talked to Oklahoma defense just a couple minutes ago. Similar story here in the secondary. The Brown brothers or the Bowen brothers, I should say, are back with Peyton being the headliner there at safety, and it's a Brent Venables unit. And then number 3 again, Georgia. So you're getting some repetition here on defense. I think these are really talented defenses overall, but Georgia with 2 first-team All-Americans for me there with Ellis Robinson and K.J. Bolden. It's a great 1-2 punch. They deserve a spot here in the top 3.
And the Aggies, Texas A&M, comes in with their defensive backs at number 6. So for A&M, for all the Aggie fans, a recap, national ranking, quarterback 12, wide receiver 4, and 4 is the highest ranking of any unit. And on the defensive side, 2 out of the 3 units, and that is defensive line 14, DB 6, national ranking. So the Aggies quite well, which fits into the college football playoff hopes. Now, Brett, I know we're going to talk playoffs, but I also know you're coming back next Monday, so there's no use trying to cram that into 30 seconds. We could pick that up next Monday. Thank you always. I think it's amazing what you do. I'm sorry.
Oh, thanks so much. Hey, we'll talk again next week. Looking forward to it.
The passion, the year-round work, it shows on every page. Thank you. And again, we'll talk next Monday. Be awesome, man.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Later. Brett Ciancia of Pick Six Previews on the D4 Land Services hotline. And you need your land cleared, d4landservices.com. Land excavated, land fixed up, d4landservices.com. It's kind of in the title, D4 Land Services. Check out everything they do at d4landservices.com.
The Louis Bellini Show. Dial 979-693-1150. Hello? To visit with him. Hello? Or to win. Hello? On the D4 Land Services Hotline. Dial 979-693-1150.
The Louis Bellini Show, presented by CC Electric. Built on faith, family, and community. CC Electric, residential, commercial, industrial services. It's what they do at CC Electric. I'm joined now inside the Charles Schwab studio. A friend of mine, good friend of mine, long time. And it's funny, it's been a long time since I got to say hi. Chris Southard, who I was going to say you're with what, the retired life?
I am now.
Yeah, Chris Southard. And it's a name that many people in our community know. Because, man, he coached, he taught, he disciplined people. I assume that was all part of your duties.
That was all part of it. Yes, it was.
How long were you a part of the College Station School District?
So the last 10 years, I've been part of CSISD. Before that, I started my career after I graduated from A&M in 96. I went right to work for Bryan ISD. I was a teacher and a coach and worked for them for 8 years. And then after that, spent a little 12-year hiatus in Frisco. North Texas. I'm originally from that area, Coppell area of North Dallas, and so went back up there for 12 years. But my wife and I, Amy's from College Station, and we always knew we wanted to get back to College Station. And so when we got the opportunity 10 years ago, actually this year, to move back, we took it, and I spent the last 10 years as part of CSISD as an administrator.
I was going to say, you're a coach, teacher, administrator.
Yep.
So you've done all different levels.
All different levels.
What did you coach?
I coached football and then softball, and then this past year, I actually got an opportunity to go out coaching baseball. My son was a freshman at CSHS. They had an opening for they were coach short, and so they gave me the opportunity to finish up the way that I started as Coach Southard. So that was pretty special for me, and I got to coach Cody as well.
Got to coach your boy.
Yeah, and so I don't know if he would say that was special, but it was special for me, and it was a great way to go out because I've always considered myself a coach and something I felt very passionately about.
I got to meet Chris because I've told the story, and you always have to remember there's people that hang out with you for the first time. But I've told the story so many times over my 50 years now. But I called Aggie softball. I was a PA guy for like 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. Color softball, play-by-play softball combined was like 22, 23. So I was involved with Aggie softball for 28 to 30 years. I lost track after a while.
I called Amy's games. My wife played there back in the day. Amy Lawler.
Think about that. I called his wife's games. And there was a time, over the year I had so many different color analysts. And so I got to meet some incredible human beings. And head coach Joe Evans goes, I know a guy. One year we had an opening in the color role. I know a guy. And I'm like, whoa, I want to know about this. And she just said, shut up. And anyway, name is Chris Southard. He coaches our camps. He works all our camps. Guy knows. And I'm like, can he speak? Because this is radio. And she's like, well, he's always able to speak at the camps. And I was like, give it a shot. Man, within like minutes. And you being a great guy to go on top of all that. And Chris and I had, I'm not going to speak for him. Other people, I find out later, like, yeah, that idiot. Anyway, had amazing time over the years calling softball games. Yeah, amazing time.
It was awesome.
I loved every minute of calling games with you.
One of the great experiences I've had. And plus, can just see the game and from that level and learn something new about the media part of it was something great for me, but I really enjoyed it as well.
I loved every minute. Again, just sitting there and your knowledge was amazing to me.
Some people would say, yeah.
Yeah, because, you coached it, you worked the camps in it, you had the knowledge of what the player should be doing, what the game should be doing, and all. And you're a great guy. So I had a great time getting to hang out with you for all that time.
You as well.
Because that's part of it people don't get. They hear the broadcast, but you're hanging out with someone a lot.
Right.
It helps if they're not... if they're good people.
That's a relationship deal. I've always been in a relationship business. That's what schools basically are. And so anytime I get an opportunity to make a connection and build a relationship, I do that, and hopefully they last, and which ours has.
And Chris is joining us here today because he has worked with TASO. And at first I thought he's like, do you want to see Ted Lasso? Because they're back. The show retired, and they're back for a 4th season. And it's coming out this week, I think. But that has nothing to do whatsoever with why Chris has joined us. TASO is the Texas Association, and I lost it after
Sports Officials. Texas Association of Sports Officials, and they basically are over all the high school athletics in the state of Texas. So they provide officials for football, baseball, volleyball, water polo, wrestling, pretty much anything you can imagine.
So every high school sporting event, TASO provides the officials.
That's correct. All over the state of Texas. And so I got involved with them when I was in college, really. I was at A&M, and I started off in baseball, working baseball games. That's what I'd done in high school for a summer job. Kind of had an affinity for officiating. My dad had done it a little bit, so I knew a little bit about it. Got down here, met some great people. Doug Williams is still in the community. You know Doug from working Aggie baseball and all that. Got hooked up with those guys, and it took off from there. So I did baseball and basketball all the way through college. After I got out of college, I started coaching at Bryan High. So I was coaching football and then softball in the spring. And so I kind of took a little hiatus out of it from the officiating world, but I still stayed connected to those guys. And then once I became a head softball coach, that was a one-sport gig. I didn't have a two-sport commitment anymore. And so I still I had a great love for high school football. I love Friday nights in the fall. I love being on a field. I love being part of a team. And so I was like, man, I've got this free time now. I've done the job in other sports. I'm going to start doing this. And so 20 years ago, I picked up football, and it's really became a passion for me.
And TASO is currently looking for officials.
Absolutely, we are. We're always looking for officials in any sport. And so one thing about officials in Texas, the average age for officials in the state of Texas is 50 years old. And so I'm I'm actually 52, so I'm above average.
Don't round down. Come on. Come on.
No, but they're retiring faster than we can replace them. And it can be a difficult job, but it's a very rewarding job. And so for people that have a passion for athletics, that want to stay involved, maybe they were an athlete, just like myself, but didn't have the talent to progress further up the chain, whether it would be the college or beyond that. But you wanted to stay involved in athletics and give back to the community, give back to the sport. I think it's a great way to do that.
So TASO is looking for officials. And as we have stated, this is high school, and this is every sport for the high school level. Mm-hmm. And what's the life like? Like help people understand, what does it mean to be a high school official?
Yeah. So for football, for example, you attend a weekly meeting, our first one is actually tonight at Spring Creek Elementary School over in College Station at 6:00. So if you want to drop by, you can certainly do that. But we train you. You go through a training process at the beginning. We teach you the rules. We teach you the mechanics of how to work the game. And then we put you through a couple of on-field clinics so you understand, basically, we're not just going to throw you to the wolves out there first time and let you go. We're going to train you up, and then you're going to begin working games, usually at the middle school level. And so from that level, then you begin to progress up, and hopefully you get all the way to, a lot of guys start at the high school level. Many have. Really, anybody that you watch on a Sunday in an NFL game, they started their career as a high school official and then progressed their way up through the ranks. And so you can do that.
So how often do you have to work? What's the commitment of the life of an official?
That's one of the great things about it is you can really work as often as you want to. We have games Monday through Friday in the fall for football. So middle school games on Monday and Tuesday, some sub-varsity on Wednesday, a lot of sub-varsity on Thursday, and then Friday night games all over the Brazos Valley. And so as much as your availability is open, you can work those games as much as you want to. A middle school game is going to pay about $60 a game. Generally, you'll work 2 games, and they'll give you a little bit of mileage. So for 2 middle school games, you could make $150 working locally.
Do you get free barbecue at the games?
Well, sometimes, depending on where you go, especially if you go out to the outer parts, the Colwells, the Centervilles, places like that. They have some really great food, and they treat you very well and will give you drinks and the food and take care of you while you're out there.
So what's the process? Let's say that someone's been hanging out with us, and they sit there and go, I've always thought about it. Mm-hmm. What do they do next?
First thing, all they really need to do is there's a couple of things. They can come to the meeting. One of our meetings are every Monday night at Spring Creek Elementary.
Oh, every Monday?
Every Monday.
Oh.
Yeah, we're starting tonight, actually. And then cstaso.org. So that's cstaso.org. That's our website. Go to that website. That will get you connected to the football guys. All the other chapters, baseball, volleyball, everything else, they have basketball. They have their own websites. If you just Google search it, you'll be able to find it. Also, TASO, the state agency, has a website that will connect you to the local chapters.
TASO.org. That's pretty, and it's TASSO?
TASO.
Just one S.
Yep,
TASO.
So
cstaso.org.
Yep.
And it's one S in TASO.
Correct.
Do me a favor.
Sure.
So when you're out of here, and you get back to whatever, well, not office, you're retired. So when you get back home, could you send me an email with the info and I'll share it through like Zone Facebook,
Absolutely.
my Twitter? Because, I just want, it's one of those things. Tomorrow people are going to be like, I remember some of that. Sure. Send me the info. I'll gladly share it.
Absolutely. We'll do it. And we need officials. Like my saying is, without officials, it's just recess. And I think it builds some great life quality skills that you have. You have to make split-second decisions. You learn game management. You learn crisis intervention. Not really crisis, but you learn.
Hope not. I'm sitting there going like, this is World War IV now? What's going on?
But you learn how to conflict resolution. All those things. It keeps you physically active. And so there's some things that I think it helps people with as well as giving back to the community and, again, getting to be a part of the great thing that is high school football in Texas.
TASO.org, one S in the TASO.
Yep.
Monday night meetings, where are they at 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock at Spring Creek Elementary School.
Okay,
which is,
just show up. Just introduce yourself.
Just show up and say, hey, I heard it on the radio. I'm interested in being official. Or go to the website, and there's our officers are on there. I think my email's even still on there. Shoot us an email, and we'll be glad to help you out. Get started and show you how to do it and show what it's all about.
If you've ever been interested in officiating, this is the how. High school level, all sports, this is the process.
Yeah, and a good thing about us, a lot of our guys are interconnected. Football guys do basketball, do baseball, do softball. And so once you're connected, they will get you to whatever else you want to do.
So basically, kind of, let's say I know I want to do baseball. I could contact you football guys and you'd help out.
100%, because several of our football guys are also baseball. I actually got back into baseball this summer because I was looking for something to do, and so worked a lot of summer ball, knocking some of the rust off, and it's a lot of rust, and it's been a little while since
If I ever call a
called
baseball game,
strikes.
I can just tell you the pitchers would love me. It's all a strike.
It's
all a strike, man.
It's changed a lot. The strike zone has shrunk over the past 20 years, and what you've seen at the professional level is really filtered down even to the high school level.
It's all a strike. Hey, brother, it is phenomenal to see you.
Appreciate you having me.
It just, again, brings a smile to my face. Again, had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun together. Calling games with you was phenomenal. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to do it again sometime, maybe.
Hey, if the opportunity ever pops up, I'd love to. I mean, probably won't be A&M softball, but anything pops, it'd be a good time.
It would be great.
I had great memories. And again, best of luck with the retired life, but I know you stink at stuff like that. Because every time I talk to you, I'm like, what are you up to? And he'd list 3 things at once. I'm like, wait, aren't they all at the same time? He'd just be like, yeah, it's no problem.
Yeah, it's good. It keeps me out of trouble, and it keeps my wife happy. It keeps me from, getting in trouble. So
again, that still falls into the trouble category.
Yes, it does.
CSTASO.org, CSTASO.org. Be awesome, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
When we return, we just got to say bye. We'll wrap things up. Some final thoughts. I think it'll be in the Astros-Rangers category. This is the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Monday, well, where else? On the Zone.
Spend your summer with the Zone.
Crank it up a notch.
This is great.
Where Aggie sports is a way of life.